Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Cast, Episode 3. I'm here with Jeff.
Hey everybody, how's it going?
And also, we have our guest here, Anthony. Go ahead and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, what's going on? duffking56 here. You can call me Anthony for this next long interview. I just want to say, how are you guys doing? Hopefully you're having a great evening. And I just want to say that I'm another LPer, very thankful to be on this show. Thank you guys. Just a little bit about myself. Been doing this thing for about 3 years now. I believe my first video aired somewhere in 2009. I really haven't looked back ever since. I've done anything from topic commentaries to live commentaries to rock band videos without any talking at all to 185 episode Let's Plays of me just talking your ears off. So I hope you guys are ready, and I hope you guys on the Let's Cast are ready for me.
Always ready to do this.
I'm not sure I'm ready for this. I'm scared. Jeff, hold me.
Oh, it'll be okay, Curtis.
I'm already holding both of you.
Alright, so Anthony, how'd you come up with your screen name?
Oh geez, such a tough one. I would say the most common misconception about my username would that be that it's based off of the Duff Man from The Simpsons, and infamously enough it is not. Screen name has to do everything with golf, and it's ironic because I'm actually a fairly good golfer, but called the Duff King in jest with all of my friends who are also good golfers because we're all good and we're not actually duffing at all. And the 56 is just my favorite number and the most random way you can get it. Just picked it right off the top of my head. It's been my favorite ever since.
So how much does it bug you when people mention Duff Beer?
There's like a line that I'm imaginarily drawing in the air right now, and if you just go above that, that's like the level of
it's right about
that
here.
It makes me. Yeah, right there. You got it.
Oh, I can see that in my mind's eye. I can just picture this line. You're like, right here. This is where, anything above this, you're fucked. Anything below it, you're alright.
Yes.
Alright, what's your favorite RPG?
I know everyone's gonna get angry. I can feel it. You know, I tweeted about it earlier today. I said that the butt hurt that people feel when I say this is palpable. Like you can feel it, like grab it right out of the air.
I already want to murder you.
I know.
Because I know what your answer is going to be.
It's welling up to this line that I have.
I'm building
I can feel it in my bones.
I'm building it up right now. Oh man, I'm just gonna say it. It's Final Fantasy XIII. There you go.
So, explain to us why it's Final Fantasy XIII.
Oh, I mean, it's just it's beautiful. The story is beautiful. The composition, the music, the whole ensemble, the game is just one thing of beauty to me, and it was just so engaging, and it sort of led me on this journey that I never would have expected. I had very low expectations from the game, just based on the hype that it came out. I got it release date, but I was still not expecting much. But once I started getting into it, I LP'd it blind, and it just really turned into something that I could have never expected in such a positive way for me.
You're LPing it blind. Do you think that kind of helps you to enjoy it more? Or do you think it's kind of one of those, you just it was the way you experienced it?
Well, technically that was my introductory LP too. So not only was it blind, but it was also my first. So not only was it a learning process insofar that I had to learn this game, but I had to learn the biz, so to speak. You know what I mean? And it just sort of, just the learning and the evolving, the improving in both the game and the LPing. I mean, as you can see, there's a complete difference between episode 1 and 54, and then 54, and then like 145. You know, you can just, the numbers just stick out where you can tell, oh, I got my PVR that day, my HD PVR. The quality turned to HD, and then you'll see a couple 50 episodes later, I got my snowball, so there's the obvious audio change. So you had that going on, and the fact that it took me 2 years and change just, it allowed me to sort of space it out, the whole experience. It had me wanting to come back to it all the time. It wanted me, I wanted to record it even though I couldn't at some points in my life. So it was very, it was always there hanging over my head. And then when I just finished it, it just was just this big emotional roller coaster that finally came to an end. So, I mean, it just, special circumstances. I'm sure if it was different, if I was a weathered veteran, like some people are that are like yelling at me right now, it would have been different. I think it would have been a different experience, but the fact that it just all came together, the stars aligned, and it was just destiny, I guess.
I find it hard to believe that anybody would name that game as their favorite RPG. No offense.
None taken.
But I can definitely see how it would have a special place in your heart because it was your first. Like, you had like 185 episodes of it?
185?
185. Okay. After doing that many episodes and having all those people go on that journey with you and all the comments, it in my mind, it's probably more than just the game. It was probably the whole experience. And then I know it's kind of emotional when you finish an LP.
Oh, I cried.
It's awesome. It's a great high.
Definitely.
And I could definitely see how that all probably kind of encompassed into making Final Fantasy XIII your favorite game.
Yeah, it all played into it. I mean, if I was going to name my second favorite RPG to appease to the masses, I would say it would be Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories. That was another excellent game because I was limited to my consoles. So I played a lot of RPGs for the Game Boy. So there you go. There's number 2 at least.
Hopefully the pitchforks and torches are being put away.
Yeah, just blot it out. Take everything I say with a grain of salt because I'm just... I can't even straight face it, because I get all this flack for it. But I just love having fun, I think I get for it too, at least not directly on the videos, but the people that I tell that I like, I think the hate plays into the like factor more. Just I get the shit-eating grin every time I talk about it, because I just know everyone's just getting mad.
You're rustling everybody's jimmies.
Rumbling some Johnnies, man.
What's your favorite FPS?
Favorite FPS has to be, and it's right there on the chalkboard in my mind, would definitely be Call of Duty Black Ops for sure.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Did you put a lot of time into it?
Well, okay, let me refine that. Everyone wants to go with it's a tie, I guess I'm gonna make a case for both of them. So, Halo 3, Call of Duty Black Ops, alright? Halo 3 was my first Xbox Live game. So, there you go, another first. And it was also my first competitive game, just in general. We always played Halo split screen with my friends, but you know how that goes if you've ever done that with your friends. You just play rockets only and you blow each other up. But, being on Xbox Live, getting competitive, the fact that I almost went down the MLG pathway to, if I wanted to, I had an in one of the top 16 teams way back ago, so it was really cool to get into the competitive aspect of that game. But certainly Black Ops would be my favorite because I just had the best sort of moments just online with my friends because a lot of them played it at the time, so put a lot of hours in with my friends. I ended up being insanely good at it. To toot my own horn, I guess, I ended up ranking top 2,000 people of domination in the world. Just overall, I'm 3,000 now. So, it was a game that I was able to excel at. So, that kind of added to the favorite part.
Okay, so you preferred Black Ops over a Modern Warfare or Modern Warfare 2? Is it just because of the changes that were made or the story, or what about those were different?
I really like the story for Black Ops, but it has to be just their engine just stuck out. It just felt more natural to me, the running and just the gunplay it felt more natural. The fact that there wasn't any perks that allowed you to add damage to your gun or add health to yourself as far as what bullets do to you, kind of balanced. I think it was an extremely balanced game. As most people would disagree, in the early stages it wasn't, but I'd have to say after their post, patches, that I think it was a very strong, balanced game. It was very fun.
Okay, so what was one of your favorite maps on Black Ops?
Summit's my map, and Nuketown, but definitely Summit's my favorite map. Domination, TDM, anything. It is, it's over, so to speak.
Very nice. Yeah, I liked Summit. I never was a really big fan of Nuketown, mostly because I could die way too much on that thing.
Oh, to me, it doesn't matter how much I die. I was never a KD player. I'm a score per minute player, so I'll die 55 times so long as I top the board with 5,000 points. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, it's all about the points to me.
Yeah, it's probably easier, especially in that type of environment, because it's just like you can pick up anything in that Nuketown, because you could, you can sit in a window and camp, or you can run around and just kind of just randomly blow up stuff as you go along, but you can just rack up the points hugely in Nuketown, so.
Oh yeah, especially in the capping flags and domination, easiest thing to do that no one will do. And one cap counts as 3 kills. And you can get one cap faster than you can get 3 kills unless you're in the right place at the right time. I think it just more relates to the kind of person I am. Nuketown's a very quick map, very sharp. You have to be on your game at all times. You have to be hyper aware.
Definitely.
But it never stops, even when you're dead. Like, you're always thinking. It's like this, I'll probably say this a million times. There's a stream of consciousness. It's always going. It never stops. It's just ever evolving, ever turning, and it's a lot like how I think, so I can be in the moment, like, at all times. So it kind of helps me at least perform well on that map.
Yeah, and I think with that map, since it's a little smaller, you know where everything's going on, but there's so many places that things can pop up, and it's so many different, like, every time you do it, something is different about it and the people you play with, that even though it's a smaller map, I think that it still has a lot more challenge to it. Even though it's just, you can just pop up, die, 2 seconds later, there's so much going on there.
I definitely agree with you. It's actually kind of funny how many people actually still use Ghost on Nuketown, like the smallest map. There's a UAV at all times, and there's frags flying everywhere. And yet there's this little perk here that no one ever heard of. It's called Flak Jacket, You could take 2 nades with it. You could take 2 noob tubes with it. Yet people just insist on being invisible, but you know what? I'll find you before your grenade can kill me, so.
Well, yeah, I mean, in Nuketown, there's nowhere to run. You're gonna get found no matter what.
Yep.
All right, so moving on to the next question. Is there a sequel that you'd like to see?
For just anything?
Anything, yeah. Is there any game that doesn't have a sequel, or maybe some old school game that there's never going to be a sequel to it, but you really kind of wish there was?
This one's a kind of a thinker. So I'm trying to think, because there's so many games that you could just cop out and say. Like, the first thing that comes to my mind right now, like a sequel that I'd want to see right now, is Kingdom Hearts 3, and I'm sure everyone that is a fan of that game would love to see that, like, right now.
Yeah, it's a good answer. A non-portable game would be great.
Definitely.
With a 3 in it.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Just throw another number.
Yep, there you go. But let's go down the road that's less traveled. I'm gonna think of I'd love to see either remade in 3D form. I would love to see either a sequel or a remake of Legend of Zelda, Oracle of Seasons, Oracle of Ages. That would be the most amazing thing ever.
Man, I can't add anything to that. I haven't played either of those.
Oh my gosh, you need to play that. It's just, amazing.
I do. I'll have to stream that sometime.
Yeah, what is that for?
It's for Game Boy Color.
Okay.
Yeah, Jeff's just like, Game Boy Color.
Done. Checked it. I'm checked out.
No.
Done.
You can
I'm out.
You could buy an emulator. I mean, an old copy.
All right, I'll check that game out. So, are you a big Zelda fan?
I love Zelda, yeah, for sure.
So you pretty much played all the Zeldas that have come out, or are you just more like sort of a nitpick?
Funny question about that. Well, actually, funny statement about that. I've played basically all of the Game Boy titles besides Four Swords, which I've just blocked out of my memory completely. I've played a little bit of Twilight Princess. I've played the hour demo you get with the Zelda Anniversary Collection for the GameCube of Wind Waker. I'm planning on playing Ocarina of Time for the first time. I'm also planning on playing Majora's Mask for the first time. And I'm also planning on playing Skyward Sword for the first time. So my Zelda experience is very limited, very centered on what was Game Boy gaming, all the Game Boy permutations of Zelda I've played. But I've never played really any of the console versions, which is why I love it so much, because I've done so much research, I've watched so much of it that I still can love it. I can still experience it as much as I want, but once I crack into them, I know I'm still gonna love it just the same.
This is blowing my mind. You played like all the portable games.
I know. I'm a very unique person.
I cannot. It's like you were like the polar opposite of me. I played all the console versions, but Man,
I was actually thinking the exact same thing. I was just like, that sounds exactly the opposite of anything I've ever done. Because, yeah, we've done pretty much all the console versions of things, and never really done any of the smaller handheld portable ones.
Well, I guess that my situation is also unique because I grew up in a family that really frowns upon gaming. So, sort of the more visible form of gaming that at least they would frown upon would be console play. So it was very hard for me to get into it in my early years on the consoles. Now it's a lot easier because they don't give a fuck and I don't give a fuck. But
there you go.
But the easiest thing to do was pop open the Game Boy in the car, you know, because it passes the time, and it's not like you're going to be able to do anything else in the car, or bring it to summer camp with you. It's a lot easier than bringing a console with you and a TV to summer camp. So I had a lot more access to the portable gaming than I did the standalone immotile console gaming.
So were you more of the black sheep of your family, kind of the gamer type, and everyone else was more of the studious, or was it just?
Well, it's just my sister and I, as far as siblings go. She's a huge gamer herself, but it's the overlords, so to speak, the ones that look down upon it. So
I understand.
And I'm very, very studious, very. I don't like. I guess I'm bragging. I don't know. I'm a very intelligent person, so I'm always researching things that aren't gaming. Like, I'm very involved in the pursuit of knowledge. I think it's a very important thing for anyone to be involved in. So, I mean, even though I do have this huge hobby, this double hobby of, recording and talking to myself, I still get my stuff done that's external to gaming. But I've always been a huge gamer. Everyone in the family, besides my overlords, have been huge into it. So,
I'm looking at the original question. I'm like, how in the hell did we get here?
An amazing way.
I'm gonna take you guys on a ride tonight.
This is gonna be a magical journey. Take me away, Anthony.
This isn't gonna end. This isn't gonna end.
It's just gonna keep going all night long.
All right, let's get back on topic here.
Yep.
Is there a sequel you would not like to see? What game do you think that there could possibly be a sequel to that there absolutely should not be a sequel to?
Okay, this one I think might be a little easier than the sequel I would like to see. Let's do an RPG and let's do an FPS, because that's how we split it up before. I like the FPS. I do not want to see the sequel. Definitely be whatever comes after Black Ops 2. I'm so done with that franchise. They get none of my money. No more. It's just over. It's done. I don't want it. And I would hate to see it because it's only going to destroy even more young, malleable minds. It'd just be terrible. I hate that. I'm crying. No. But the RPG I don't want to see, the sequel, I would have to say, oh my gosh. Let me see. I'm looking over my shoulder here.
Looking at all your games on your shelf or something.
Definitely. I would have to say, for an RPG, I would not like to see there be a sequel with. I've also repeated this question about 3 times by now. But I'm going to go against what I think a lot of the common belief would be. I would say I would not like to see another Tales game to come out, or anything Tales related. People are going to be mad.
Really? That's an interesting one.
I really, really dislike the automatic reception that it gets. And it just personally, this is completely irrational. And there's really no strong basis for this statement. I just don't want to see another. I don't want to hear about it.
Okay, well, I agree with you on the Call of Duty front. I totally agree with you on that. Tales though, Tales of Vesperia was really good.
Yeah, that game was really good.
I played Vesperia, right? And we have Tales of Symphonia downstairs. I'm going to be playing that too. But I liked it. I really did. But the combat, leaves a lot for me, at least, to be desired, personally. But I like the game. I can watch it. I can enjoy it. But I don't want to hear it. I don't want to hear about it anymore. I'm done.
That's one of those rare games that I actually, it's gonna sound pathetic, but that's one of those rare games I actually beat. And then on top of that, I actually did a New Game Plus and like tried to pull over all the stuff I'd gotten in the previous save, using all my like the combat grade points you get. Like I got really into it. Like I really enjoyed it. So I personally would like to see another one. But I know there's some Tales game, like a lot of them in my opinion, aren't very good. And actually a lot of reviewers agree that aren't very good, but like Symphonia and Vesperia were both very good, in my opinion.
And of course, that's the two we have.
Yeah, that's like the two that I would like to see that quality of in the future.
I can see where, you'd take like the premier game and you'd love to build upon that and sort of idea. But it's almost the same as like, it's kind of, the luster has been, eaten away by the fan base and just the two, after the two releases that I saw, I just didn't like what I saw after.
It's like, I don't even get into the fan base. Like, I don't even know what people are saying about the games. I just played them. That's it. Like, I don't...
Exactly.
That's it. That's all I did. I played them and I loved them. That's it.
So kind of, Duffman, your idea of Tales is kind of Curtis's idea of Final Fantasy, where he's kind of gotten to the point where he's done with that, and then, but you kind of get the other way with the Tales. That's how your view of things are.
Yeah, I mean, it was a really tough decision mentally. It was either going to be, I don't know how RPG-ish this is, but you do play a role in the games. I know people's definition of it is very diverse, but it was either going to be another Grand Theft Auto, another Tony Hawk Pro Skater, or it was another Tales game. So I figured I'd take... I was going to take a Tales
more
game.
Compromising.
I'm not sure if like another Tales game would be more controversial than another Grand Theft Auto game. I think that's
I would almost say more of not another Grand Theft Auto game, because it's pretty much just the same thing over again. So
just go to point A, kill everyone at point A, drive away from point A, killing everyone chasing you from point A, and then get to point B and kill everyone at point B.
And just start all over again.
And get high. Smoke weed every day.
Okay, alright, let's go on to the next question. I'm actually going to try to maybe skip a question or two here, because we need to get into the Let's Play questions. We're not even...
Might be.
Alright, so, fuck it, we'll just ask the questions and edit it later. Your favorite video game character? Of all time.
All time.
Of all time. Gotta pick one. Just one.
Okay, this I can do. I can pick one for this one. And that one, I'm gonna solidify it now mentally before I spit out what comes to my mind.
He's gonna say lightning.
I was actually thinking he's gonna say lightning.
Come on,
he's gonna say lightning.
No, he's gonna say snow.
Oh no, it's Hope, man. He's hot as hell.
That's right.
That's not even funny.
It was either that or Sora's shoes. I can't think.
God.
I'm gonna say lightning. I'm gonna say Claire Farron.
I knew it. So
you guys know me like a book.
What did you like about lightning?
What I like about lightning is that, I think one thing that everyone gets behind her is that, like, she's this hard ass, like, she's not gonna back down from anything. But what I really like about her is that she's a very layered person. So you have the one dimension of her that is her mercenary soldier side that does what she's told to the letter, exceptionally for her, her clients. But there's also this, it's like this onion, you just keep peeling back. I hate to use a Shrek analogy.
I was about to say, it's like an onion or an ogre.
I mean, layered was a good enough analogy, but to relate it, because I have to. Be like, she's, you peel back a layer, and you have this person who's very dedicated to, her comrades, whether it be the ones she had, at home, like Amadar and, all of her other mercenary friends. And then there's the other layer that, she's a very big family person. She's very protective of her sister. She's going to the ends of the earth and time just to save her, even though it's a complete suicidal death trap for her. She knew this more than anyone else in the story, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think she knew that from the get-go and still was willing to do it and still was willing to do whatever it took, so.
You know, I'm a very big family man myself, and having a sister, you know, she's very important to me. My family's very significant to not only my formation of a person that I am now, but, you know, going into the future, I'm going to keep them very close. So she has that element too, but she also has this very, very, very soft element that she doesn't let anyone see, and you know, only in the most dire straits that you get to see her sympathetic, empathetic, you know, the side that I think is like a lover, you know, someone who is not romantic insofar that she's like looking for a relationship, but like romantic in that she can like see, you know, how much Snow loves her sister, and like she'll crack a smile right at the end, you know, and there's like this whole debate whether or not she smiled or not, or whether or not she was even present at that point at the end of Final Fantasy XIII without getting into the story, because I would hate for the people watching my LP of 13 to get spoiled now. But quick self-promotion, but you know.
Gotta plug it where you can.
Oh, but seriously, you know, she's just this layered person. You can't really crack her. She unfolds it herself, no matter how many times people prod her. And I think, you know, the one scene that really got me was towards the end of 13, I can't remember what chapter it was, probably chapter 12, where they're like in this large field and Snow and Lightning are talking to each other, and Snow comes back and said that, you know, he was just talking to Sarah, the tear that she cried, the crystal tear, and Lightning cracks a joke and punches him in the shoulder, and even though it was pretty hard, and Snow didn't like that, but you know, they had like this moment, you could see it, and you could just see this other layer just take form, like, just, you know, it was born, like you could actually see it. So I love her.
That was a very good answer.
Oh, I thank you.
I'm still processing all that information.
Like I said, I have that effect. I just get going. I can't stop. I apologize.
Now, do you think that her development is kind of more based on the characters around her kind of being completely different from that? Because, I mean, like Snow, yeah, he still is pretty much just looking for Sarah and is very single-minded in that, but, you know, it's a different way that he feels towards Sarah than Lightning does.
I think everyone sort of plays a role. To me, I think I can really relate to Lightning because above all, I think she's a teacher. You know, she taught Hope that he can be not useless sometimes, and he can actually help. And, you know, he taught...
No, he's pretty much useless.
I know you guys get a kick out of that. She taught Zaz a lot about himself, as, you know, he has to be a role model for his son, Dodge, you know, and not just this wisecracking black man. And he taught Snow a lot about she taught Snow a lot about dedication and sort of this willpower that, you know, Snow has already, but I think she reinforces it. I think she teaches her sister a lot about how important she feels that Snow and herself is, how important family is. And I think, you know, just she leaves this footprint on everyone, just like a teacher leaves a footprint on their kids. And I think everyone else leaves a footprint on Lightning throughout the story. And she sort of carries those with her. Whether or not you see them, it really plays an effect on her character.
All right. Moving on. So, pop, soda, or Coke? What do you call soda or pop?
Well, first of all, Coke? In the Northeast, the master race of people, we call it pop.
Oh, wow.
Right? I did. We are the master race.
You went there.
I apologize for anyone who's inferior, but I shouldn't have to at this point. But seriously, it's called pop. And if I were to get my favorite right now, it'd be Dr. Pepper, hands down.
That seems to be a common trend with a lot of our guests so far, is Dr. Pepper's ranking pretty heavy.
It's my favorite pop.
Even from a can? Gasoline, taste included?
No. Not even fountain. Fountain Dr. Pepper's gross. Canned Dr. Pepper, gross. It's all about the 18 fluid ounce bottle.
Really?
2 liters, they go flat after a while. 18 ounce bottle.
18? Wow, that seems like you're getting cheated out of a couple ounces there.
What do you mean?
Well, most of the bottles we have here are 20 ounce.
Are they 20? I'm looking at mine now, and that is 20. Actually, I'm sorry. I get ahead of myself here.
I mean, I
18,
understand.
The 18 is the retail version. I have a 24 right now.
Ooh,
I'm looking at it. I'm salivating. I have to be honest.
You want it, so you can't. Nobody can pass off Mr. Pibb as like a Dr. Pepper alternative, right? Like you are.
If you mix it with things at Burger King, you're good to go. But it's shit tier compared to
mix
Dr.
it,
Pepper.
Mix it with shit at Burger King, and that's really weird. But awesome.
I know what I want. I'm a man who knows what he wants. That's more than any other man.
All right, so I just want you to know, like, if you look, I don't know if you knew this, but there's actually a website that they did like a census of who calls what, soda, like pop soda or Coke, and the Northeast, I'm pretty sure it wasn't pop. The Southeast called it pop, and I believe the Northeast called it soda.
I would react to that by saying there's the Northeast that you're thinking of geographically, right? And then there's this little state called New York that basically, when you think of the Northeast, you think of New York because there is no other state in the Northeast besides New York, and there's no other state more intellectually and obviously tax-wise advanced than New York State. So
actually, man, I'm looking at it right now. I am wrong. Hell, wow, pop is very popular up there. Man, look at that.
I should have clarified. The Northeast, aka New York State, everyone else is bad, kid, random.
Doesn't matter, no matter what they say.
Exactly, it's pop. That's pop. I don't care. It doesn't matter.
All right. Well, on that note, I think we're done with the QQ.
Pop theory. But yeah.
Okay, so let's get the Let's Play questions. We've already answered some of these a little bit, but of all of your LPs, which is your favorite?
I would have to say, I'm looking at the list now that you so nicely gave me. Although it's not Fallout 3 New Vegas, just Fallout New Vegas. I just had to throw that out there.
I actually thought it was Fallout New Vegas, and I'm like, I think there's 3 in there. Added later.
Yeah. Let's say the one that is my favorite is Final Fantasy XIII, for the obvious reasons we stated that earlier. But the one that I had the most fun in, I would have to say, was Hydro Thunder.
Hydro Thunder. I went through all your LPs, and I watched some of them, and I was like, Hydro Thunder? Why did he do an LP of this? So I watched one episode, I'm like,
okay.
Really?
Hell yeah. It was, the nostalgia factor just killed me, and the smile crept in so much so that it just made everything so much fun. And I had so many good stories to reflect back upon. Apparently people could relate to that, the old arcade days, so it was a lot of fun. It was quick, but it was fun.
I'd never actually played or even heard of Hydro Thunder until I saw your LP of it, and I'm like, wow.
Wait, have you seriously never seen that in an arcade or anything?
Okay, the arcade, like, look, I grew up in a town of like 25,000, 30,000 population, and our arcade was horrible.
Okay, I can see that. How do you feel about Cruising the World? Have you ever heard
Cruising
of that
USA?
series?
Is that like
It's car
Cruising
racing.
USA?
Yeah, Cruising USA, Cruising the World. It's like a
Cruising 2048
car racer,
Alcatraz.
basically.
Yeah.
It's like California Speed is another one. They're all arcade racers that were for the N64 as well. Basically, I think a lot more people know Cruising the World, so I would equate the fun they had playing Cruising the World to the fun I had playing Hydro Thunder.
Now, did you do more of the racing in the arcade, or did you just kind of do whatever you saw and just was like, hey, let's do this today?
I was a racer primarily because I could get more free plays out of it than other ones, so it was just more efficient, when you're given all the quarters. But I was also a Tekken button masher, professional, of course.
Oh yeah, mine was the Mortal Kombat button mashing, so.
Yep, I know exactly what you mean. I would play the ogre, and I would just smash heavy the whole time, and somehow I'd win a round or two.
Yeah, see, I did that with, like, Raiden. It was just basically, you just kind of mashed around, did whatever combo was on the screen that they had left up for you, and you're just like, oh, I'll just spam that. Done. I win.
I think I was done with Mortal Kombat when I couldn't figure out that the finishers actually had a certain combination you had to do, so I was just so angry I just went over to Tekken, where accidents were more happy than sad in Tekken than Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, oh yeah. Mortal Kombat, like, whenever you had to do, like, the finisher or the friendship, it was literally a very specific series of buttons. It was just like, no, I don't need to do this anymore.
By the time you figured it out, right, you know, you had everyone screaming over your shoulder, because when you were playing at the arcade, everyone watched when you were playing a popular game. So by the time you finally hear, you know, up, down, left, right, X, B, A, whatever, you know, the guy just falls over and you get the KO anyway, so...
Yeah.
It's just bad.
It just ended, and you're just like, oh, well, alright, too late.
Yep.
Yeah, I also like the shooters that they had there that were kind of good. There was like the Time Crisis and something like that. I usually got very good at those.
Yep, definitely. Oh, those are fun too. I love the time. I never got into them because when I was in my arcade days, I was never that tall where I could kind of have a command of the screen.
That would seriously be a huge disadvantage of that.
Exactly, and the pedal pressing was not connected to my hand-eye coordination, apparently, so it was kind of hard to take cover.
Yeah, that was a very big thing.
House of the Dead was another good one. That was a solid one.
That was pretty good, and you never really had to do anything with the pedal or anything, so it was just easy just to pump action and just go.
And I had to say, too, for House of the Dead had the best preview intro screens, so I loved playing those as a kid, when you weren't using quarters. Like, you'd actually just go up to the machine and, like, fake shoot the zombies. You know, everyone's done that.
Oh, of course, yeah.
But, like, when you played Time Crisis 2 or whatever, every time you press the pedal, it would skip to the intro screen. So there's no fun in that. And then House of the Dead, you know, as long as you're fake shooting the zombies, you're pretty good to go. I remember back in the day, I used to be able to emulate the zombie encounter in the intro screen, how many times he got shot, where he got shot, and how he fell. Like, that's how much we used to play, like, the preview screens, because it was just so much fun.
Oh yeah, it was free too. Like, you run out of your quarters, you just gotta do something to kill some time, or figure something out while, you know, you're just like, I'm gonna stay here and just play whatever I can, so.
Exactly.
Apparently I was deprived as a child.
Seriously, man.
You know, maybe you should get on our level.
Man.
calling everyone out.
You're like, okay, if you don't do arcade games, you're screwed.
No, we gotta have a big meetup, and we're just gonna go to the arcade, and we're all gonna just silently watch you have a childhood again.
I don't know, guys. If there's an arcade game that I want to play, it's the Japanese, like, table flipping game.
Wait, there's an actual Japanese table flipping game?
Yes, yeah, where the, basically, like, you have to time it just right, and people will be walking around the room or something like that, and you're, like, the head of the family, the dude, and you flip the table, and depending where everybody's at is how much damage does, and you get scored on basically how much destruction you cause.
Wow.
There's an actual physical table that you flip.
That is just about the coolest thing that I've ever heard in my life.
That just blows my mind, yeah.
There's actually another game that I never understood, wasn't tall enough, and couldn't play. And that was a game that was, you know, those multi-game games where it had a bunch? But the one game, it had this little joystick that was like a universal for most of the games you used it. And the mini game, and I always wanted to play it, was you were a bartender, and you had to slide the beer across the bar to the guy's hand. And, like, you had to have, like, expert aim. And it was just, like, the coolest thing, because it was all finesse, but I just couldn't do it.
Didn't you have to, like, you had to stop it before it, like, went too far and went, like, over the edge?
Yeah, it would go right off the bar.
Yeah, I remember that.
Good game.
That was, yeah.
Okay, let's move on. Let's see here. You've done a wide variety of games. All of your Let's Plays. Is there a genre that, like, you just won't do?
I'm trying to think, because I love broadening my horizons regardless of genre, regardless of title, regardless of reception of the games. I'm very open, but there are some genres I do try to stay away from. There's only so many sports games LPs you can do, like so many make these creative franchises. But now it's a lot easier with the extra modes. Like, if you're not going to do an NHL franchise, you could do a shootout, series or something like that. But sports games I generally try to avoid unless they're really gimmicky. Like, I want to do NFL Blitz and I want to do NHL Hits. Those gimmicky games are more fun. But another game that I kinda sort of shirk away from would definitely be Fighters, because although the stories are good, rich with lore, I would be destroyed in the community because I would get everything wrong. and I would know no backstory because I don't get into games like that. Unless it's Soul Calibur Weapon Master, that's different.
Well, I mean, wouldn't you consider kind of Smash Brothers Melee kind of that same fighter genre? Because I mean, you did a pretty good Let's Play of that, or at least a commentary of that, for part of like the beginning of your stuff.
I started it, and I need to finish that, by the way. Thank you for reminding me.
Hey, no problem. That's what we're here for.
It actually goes way, way back to the origin of my Let's Playing, but I consider that, I would throw that in at least the LP, maybe not game genre category, but LP category of like co-op story type game. So I would definitely consider that way, way more than something like Tekken 5 or, Super Street Fighter 4, something like that.
Now, with that one, I remember listening to that. Was something you were set up just because you were trying to explain like something in your school, and that was kind of how you got that started, or what was that exactly?
I love how you asked about that. Thank you. This is even more nostalgia. This was basically part of the reason why I started my channel in general. Way, way, way back ago, I had this crazy idea that I'd love to talk to myself and share it with my friends about video games. I always had it in my mind that I love sharing my gaming experience with my friends, and when we were seniors in high school, we had a senior lounge, so someone brought in like an Xbox, another kid brought in an N64, another kid brought in a GameCube, and my friend Alex brought in Super Smash Bros. Melee, and we would play it non-stop, and just like any other classic, just go at it and just play it. Whenever we had free periods, we were in there playing multiplayer, all that. So much fun, so many great memories, and we had like this unwritten code, like almost like this Fight Club type code, like you don't do this, you don't do that, and the LP, quote unquote, was like kind of a way to explain what I thought of the characters at the time. So like episodes 1, 2, 3, and 4 were very ignorant. My ignorant worldview of Super Smash Bros. Melee, but now since I've been able to see like this whole competitive scene that I never knew about, now I'm watching these games, I'm finding out all this info about tiering on characters and stuff like that, and I look back now and I'm like, oh my gosh, what was I saying? But it was so much fun doing it because everyone would wait at school for the next episode, and I'd come in, we'd talk about it together. The ones that agreed would agree, and the other ones would make fun of me for what I do. So it was fun. It was fun times.
Yeah, it just seemed like you were just playing just to play, and then this conversation just kind of came up from that, which seemed to then lead into because of what you guys were doing, and it seemed like that's kind of where it all started.
Yep, I know exactly what you mean. I was just playing the game for the sake of playing it.
There was almost a disconnect when I was watching. It was just like you played the game, but then your mind was just doing its own thing.
Exactly. Like it's almost like I went into it with like quote unquote notes or like an actual topic in mind. So it reflected really poorly on the commentary, but like I got what I wanted to get across. I was very forward with it. So.
Yeah, hey, it worked. And look what spawned.
I guess so. Exactly. Well, the monster that's talking right now.
All right. So next question. Is there a game you won't LP because you feel you won't do it justice?
No, definitely not. I will LP anything and everything that I feel like I could complete. And like I don't want it to come across as like me being full of myself, I think. Like I think any sort of personal flair that you can put over a game really can't underwhelm it at all, as long as you're having fun with it. And there hasn't been a game I shouldn't say that. There's one game I haven't had fun, but I still think was okay when I did it. It was Dead Island. But seriously, as long as you're having fun, it doesn't matter to me. It's not about doing the game justice. It's about doing yourself justice and having fun.
Now, do you feel like a lot of your Let's Plays have come from people giving you comments? Or has it just kind of been like, a nostalgic feel? I mean, I haven't played this game in a while, or hey, I love this game, or, whatever. What kind of was the reasoning for the games you kind of came up with?
A lot of people pressed me to, like, do stuff on Super Smash Brothers when I did it. Because I told everyone, like, hey man, I got this capture card. It's called this Dazzle blah blah blah. and I can record games with it. And they're like, dude, you should record Super Smash Brothers and talk about it. And I was like, yeah, it'd be so cool. So a lot of it was feedback from my peers. And then once I started Super Smash Brothers, I was getting PMs like, hey, dude, can you play this game? Like when I started Final Fantasy XIII, everyone's like, hey, if you like 13, you're going to love every game that's not 13. So you should play this, this, and this. And then it sort of just evolved into, you know, at one point I was like, dudes, tell me what to play. And then they're like, no, it's your channel. And I'm like, fine, have it your way, which is my way, actually.
I can totally agree with that, by
exactly.
the way.
Yeah, oh yeah, I know.
Absolutely. Like, I've got one game in mind right now that you should play.
Oh yeah?
Persona 3 or Persona 4.
Oh yeah, I have it. I have 4, was actually bought for me with my refurbished PS2. It was a gift from one of the persons that I met when I first started LP. And I can't wait to crack into it, so I'm excited.
Don't do an LP of it for a year.
Oh no, I'm going to do it semi-blind, so I'm going to do it. I'm probably going to play through it as bare bones as I can. Get the basic elements down, basic story, basic advanced techniques for everyone, you know, just sort of a basic strategy, you know. But I'm uncut, uncensored. You're going to see everything, fails, successes, everything. Doesn't matter. And I'm going to play it, and it's going to be fun.
Bold. Very bold, sir.
Very.
I have very polarizing, yet I feel grounded in some sort of theory, opinions, I guess.
So
nice.
What game are you planning on doing next, if you want to talk about that?
Next game I want to do, after I finish, I'm guessing I'm going to finish Vegas before 13.2, because 13.2 is going to be this monster. And you can take that negative and positive, because I know both people will. But I definitely want to do Sleeping Dogs, for sure. I've been eyeing that one for a while since I started playing it, and that's definitely it. And then on top of that, I've always wanted to get Oracle of Ages and Seasons right in there. I already had templates ready for both of them, but it's going to be a very edit-intensive LP, which I'm not used to, so a lot of time. Gonna wait till the summer to do that or something like that.
How long do you think you'll be doing Final Fantasy XIII too?
Until it's over. It's going to be 100% complete walkthrough, all DLC besides Coliseum, so it's going to be good. Bonus content, everything.
So with your LPs, like, I know they're usually pretty good chunks that are broken up. Like, I know Final Fantasy XIII, there was, you know, you kind of did Link's Awakening, a couple other games, like, in between, and then you get back into it, but still broke it up a little bit. Is it that just, okay, you feel like you need to take a break from it, or is it just things aren't going the way you want them to, or something's not right, you need to just step away, or why do you usually have those breaks in there?
There's never really been a point in my career, quote unquote, that I've sort of had to step back. I've had to force myself to stop. The only times that I've had to stop, and like you're saying, the breaks, there was a couple month break, and then content flow, and then a couple month break for 13 at least, and then content flow. And that was because in my real life, you know, there were situations that came up that didn't force me to stop, but I couldn't possibly do it. It's like circumstances were just not with me there.
Pretty much things were against you in real life that you're just like, I can't divulge yourself to this game right now.
Right, whether it be personal issues that have been resolved, or I just didn't have an Xbox with me when I was at Allegheny College when I was there. So it was very, very diverse. As I said, it was an emotional roller coaster. And, you know, at the very lows of the LP, I was actually not playing the game at all. I actually had to sit there and watch people say, when's the next episode? When are you going to do it? Come on, man. You got to do it. And those were definitely the lows.
Yeah, I'm sorry. Does your fans, do they kind of help bring you back up? Do they kind of motivate you to keep going, kind of help you out, even in real life, as far as just continuing to keep going, keep playing, and things like that?
Oh yeah, I definitely would say that they play a big part in motivation for me to continue, even though I play a huge part in my motivation to continue, because I know that I'm just having so much fun, so I stop. But a lot of situations I would come into would be they would just keep nagging and pushing, and all the positive support, negative support, criticism, whether it be neutral, you know, just it all sort of mounded into this sort of hand at my back, literally pushing me to record, pressing the button for me almost. It almost felt like some days where I would sit down and I would hit record on the PVR, and then I would have to stop, and then I would take an hour, and then I'd look at the screen, and then I'd hit record again, I'd stop, I'd read my comments, go back, record an hour, feel really good, and just rinse and repeat. So a lot of fan support. I hate calling them fans, it's so pretentious, but a lot of supporting support for my supporters, all support, and a lot of, in real life experience, a lot of people that I know on a very personal level know what I do. So I'm very transparent with that kind of stuff with them. So we always talk about it. It's always a great conversation starter, and they'd always ask, hey, how's the channel going, or whatever. But if I had to pick a specific event that really kept me going, I think it's a question somewhere around here. I don't. If not, it isn't. Then it would have to be when I first went to college. I, sort of doing my own thing. I was very to myself about the channel because I know that, a couple of years ago this thing wasn't as common as it is now, and with the, dealing with the age group I was dealing with, you sort of get ostracized for doing fun stuff like this. I call it fun. They called it, nerdy, weird, whatever you want to say. And that doesn't normally bother me, but when you're living with these kids, you gotta take all of that into consideration. But the guys across the hall from me, I met this one kid named Scott, and he was really into Call of Duty, and, I let it slip while we were playing one day that I did commentary. So he went and checked out my channel. He's like, that's so cool. He's getting all pumped or whatever. And he went behind my back and told, half the people on the floor that were into Call of Duty. And it so happens that, my best friends now found out before I could even tell them about my channel and already subbed. I didn't even know who they were until I asked them. Or until they asked me about it. They confronted me about it. They're like, hey, dude, I found you on YouTube. Scott told me, you had this so-and-so channel. And we checked it out and we love it. And I was like, what? I was so surprised. And it was, so humbling and flattering at the same time. I was like, man, if people like it, why do I even want to stop? Why can't I find a way to do this?
Did anybody find Scott's body?
No, he's somewhere in Texas now. I shouldn't have said that. Oh, you got editor.
He's in a couple of states now.
He's in a box.
Okay, what recording equipment and software do you use?
Fairly standard. The industry, AA standard, I guess, HD PVR to record my Xbox and other things now that I have the cables for other consoles. I edit in Vegas 9, which is the only stable copy apparently I can get for my PC. Record in Audacity, record my PC with Fraps. Really haven't looked back ever since I've sort of stabilized with what I have now, besides trying to get a new computer. But that's basically it.
About how many times do you think you've been asked this?
Countless. But it's always good to have it prepared,
Oh, man. I know that's once you start... once you get past 1,000 subscribers, you start getting that question more and more, and I don't know, it's funny.
It's weird because people know what you use. It's not rocket science. There's only so many different things you can use. Even, there's more now, but back in the day when people cared about getting equipment, there's only certain many things you could do. But I think it's the subtle things that I did, like color correction, or just subtle little editing tricks I would throw in the video just to make it look more palatable to the average viewer. Definitely helped. Made people like, whoa, how'd you get it to look like that exactly? What'd you use? So some of the questions are more guided that way, but a lot of people are just like, what do record with?
So you use so Vegas is your main video editing software, right?
It's my lifeline, yeah.
You don't use anything beyond that?
I dabbled in After Effects, and I was like, I am not cut out for this.
That was about the first 2 weeks I spent with After Effects. I felt that way.
I mean, I can do basic stuff in it, but Vegas, much more streamlined. I got all my templates on there. I really can't be bothered to change right now. I mean, if I somehow got ahead of myself by 3 months, I would sit down in After Effects and I would just play my little heart out until I figured it out, but Vegas is good for now.
So I noticed you're on version 9 and they have like version 11 out right now. Like, you just have no interest in upgrading, right? You know your version.
No,
There's just no
I'm good.
reason.
I've tried to upgrade. I've installed 10 and 11, and they both just have their issues, and they just auto crash, and it's not good. Not good.
Not gonna do.
It's like I said, 9 is the most stable. It's having some issues now. I think I'm gonna have to go through a little breakup phase with it, but we'll be okay.
Threaten it with 10 or 11. Or even go Adobe route.
I might even go to 8. You don't even know what 9's gonna feel like when I mention it.
Oh, stepping down. I mean,
could you imagine even if I said 9A? I mean, this is 9C we're talking here.
how could you?
That's a straight downgrade, my
I
friend.
know, right? So how much of your videos are actually edited, and how much of it is all live?
The topic commentaries are all edited, unless they say live commentary, but all my Let's Plays are done live unless there's extenuating circumstances to which you would know right off the bat it would be live, because I would say it would be post-record. Everything is live. Everything is uncut. Never done a second take ever. Don't think. I can't remember.
Do you prefer that? I mean, it sounds like that's just the way you do, and that's just the way you want to roll. But I mean, would you prefer to go back and edit things, or is it just it's going to be what it's going to be, and that's it?
The only things I edit now is dead space on my mic. I will cut that out, and then I will boost volume from the game. So it's really the only extent of editing that I do, and that and syncing. Syncing is so painful. So painful with my setup right now. I'm just not having a good time with syncing.
Syncing audio and video?
If there's just one blemish on my YouTube channel, it would be my syncing job. Bad. I can get into it, but it's just a long story.
But you're talking about syncing your mic audio and the video, right?
I'm talking about mic to video and then video to video. That's how bad it's gotten with my computer right now.
Oh my! Wow.
So like there'll be a point where all of a sudden it's just a half second, but everyone notices. It doesn't matter. It could be second 14:59 out of a 15-minute video, and people will see it. And it'll just be a hair off, and I won't notice it because the way I don't watch every second most of the time. I mean, if I'm in a hurry, I'm going to spot check, I'm going to upload. But since I don't render in advance, I normally render the day of and upload the day of because I'm insanely busy right now with my college schedule, but it's just gotten to the point where the wattage in my USB ports are just not consistent, so it will cut for a split second, and then it will come back, and then the audio will just be a hair off, and then the way my USB uses the same electricity out of the USB, it'll just cut for a second, it'll come right back, but everything will be off.
Man, that is unfortunate.
And it is the most painful thing. Just syncing. I can deal with fraps. Writing files, I've actually gotten pretty good with fraps. That's normally pretty good. But the HTTPVR and me, talk about breakup. I've kicked her out so many times.
It just keeps coming back.
She's pulling me back in, man.
Okay, the next question. How much of your current audience did you pick up during your first year of LPing?
I would say a good amount of my regulars I've picked up from my first year of LPing and topic commentary. I can't really keep those separate because they've been such a huge part. But more recently, I've been picking up people here and there, but really Final Fantasy XIII and a couple of my more philosophical commentaries have been the real hook on the audience.
Do you have like certain people who have just been around forever, like almost since the very beginning?
Oh yeah, I remember them like it was yesterday. I always make fun of them because I keep all my emails. I don't delete any of the subscription emails, so I'll just like call up the date they subscribed to me. Like, hey, do you remember September 13th of 2009 or whatever? Like, fuck you. Like, I've been with you for that long. That kind of sucks.
Sucker.
But no, like, I picked up, most of my really good LPing friends. They came on beginning of Final Fantasy XIII. And then we've supported each other ever since, and we've grown together, and we've been inseparable ever since. Like, a bunch of the core guys that I know now, and a bunch of the guys that I met on the way that are all content creators are just great guys, and it just so happened that we all related on, like, episode whatever of whatever.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah, it's fun. It's unreal. It's amazing.
Speaking of commenters and meeting people through the comments, was there ever a comment on a video that really got to you? Like, either it's a really great comment, like a very memorable comment, whether it's good or bad?
Good contents, or contents, really? What am I saying? It's late. Oh my gosh. No. Comments. Good comments are always great. They're always great to see. They never really will affect me unless they're exceptional. There's some exceptional comments that I can remember. Multi-comment comments because the character limits, those I remember. There's more memorable PMs I have than comments, but the great comments are always just amazing. Every comment on the finale for Final Fantasy XIII I treasure. Like it, I'd frame them if I could. And I probably will eventually. But the bad ones, they itch at you. They'll never, you can say that, I always let them roll, whatever, as much as you want, but the ones that are just blatantly criticism and sometimes not even grounded in any sort of rational thought really bother me sometimes. And I know that's for everyone, too. I mean, someone just blatantly says, "You suck, get a life, fag." Oh, okay. That was so thoughtful and constructive. Those kind of annoy me. But
like, everybody should be posting thoughtful and considerate, posts on the internet.
But still, I understand that some people don't have the reading level of a third grader, but you should know that when you're in my house, that you will be reacted to accordingly to my feelings on your comments. People get mad when people respond to haters. Well, you kind of asked for it. How would you feel like if you did an art project for a teacher? Well, actually, this has actually happened to me too. How would you feel if you spent hours toiling on an art project for a teacher? A drawing, something as simple as a chalk or charcoal drawing. And you sit up there for 15 minutes and you get lambasted by the teacher on how you're bad. You're a bad artist and you'll never amount to anything. Now, whether it be an intro to drawing class or a hobby like YouTube, they get to you. And sometimes it's not even worth it. And sometimes it's not even just genuinely nice.
Actually, that's one of my biggest fears is if I ever start getting more subscribers and my page ever gets, at least, in the thousands of subscribers, and I start getting negative comments. Like, most of my comments right now are positive. I've only had one, and I think, and I totally agree with them. But I have this fear that I may not be able to handle the criticism.
Mm-hmm.
Because I'm extremely critical of my work already. Adding that on top of it, it may be a problem for me. So I was just curious what your take on it was.
Yeah, I definitely know what you mean. Like, you get to a certain point, and you're always going to have the quote-unquote trolls. Now, I could spend hours talking about on how that's stupid, but I will not. I will spare you guys. But this whole, it's on the internet notion that people have, so like people apparently have, open season at your channel just because it's quote unquote the internet. That sort of bothers me on a foundational level, but when you get big, I guess people sort of emotionally harden to that kind of stuff, and when one comment or two comments is drowned out by 160 comments, you really don't have to dwell on the negatives at that point. Everything's basically self-sustaining once you get to a certain point as far as comments go. I think too, like, deep down, a lot of content creators just don't care at a certain point, and they just do it because that's what makes them the money.
Gotcha. That's actually a good segue into my next question. I noticed you enabled ads on almost all of your content. What led you to that decision?
Well, truthfully, I have not enabled ads on all of my content. All of my content post when I received my partnership was added unbeknownst to me. But that was the nature of my contract, which I can't get into, obviously. But, all of my recent stuff, I put a lot of time in it, and I put a lot of effort into it, even though I don't edit and I don't cut like some people do. I still feel like when I sit down and I record, I give it my all, and not saying that I deserve it any more than anyone else, but I have this functionality, and I more than encourage people to use ad block on my channel. It doesn't matter to me. It's not about the money. It's less about the money than it is about I'm like floundering. I'm floundering. It's too late. I don't have any caffeine. Oh my God.
Well, just to frame the question a little bit, I've actually considered doing ads on my site as well. My site's really small, and I kind of feel like I don't want to make people watch that stuff quite yet. I would rather have more subscribers, more people visiting my site, and really, get a good reason on why I should have it on there. Like right now, it's like there's not enough people viewing my stuff, to really force those few that do to watch ads. That's my reasoning. So I was curious, like, at what point maybe you decided. And I guess really the answer to my I guess my sort of secret question is that really whenever you get partnered is really when you start putting them up.
I guess. I mean, I can be quoted saying numerous times saying that if I was partnered, I would seriously consider not doing it. But like I said, I encourage everyone to use AdBlock. It's a great program. I use it myself. Why should I be hypocritical in that fashion? But when you think about it, if you come back day after day to watch this person give their heart, personality, and mind to you, I'm romanticizing it, obviously, but I actually do feel that way. I put a lot into it, like I said. 15 seconds to a minute here and there is really inconsequential to the entertainment you're going to receive afterwards, I think. At least for personally.
Yeah, when I talked to, this is on the IRC for the subreddit r/Let's Play, we talked about this a little bit, and several people expressed the fact that, they don't really mind that there are ads on some of the videos that they watch from some of the Let's Players, because it's an easy way to support that person.
Yeah. I mean, it's like no one's going to donate $15 out of their PayPal to fund your next game. Well, not a lot of people. Some people maybe. But it's a small thing. It's a courtesy, almost. There's a certain etiquette, I think, that is unwritten on YouTube. And I think that, if you like the person, then all you have to do is mute your computer, Alt-Tab, and do one question of your homework. I'm not saying that it's nothing, because I know a lot of people get bothered by it. And now with the mobile ads, it's going to be an even bigger hot topic, because you used to be able to dodge it that way. But now it's just, it's a courtesy, I think, and it's not like I'm asking for the money. Like I said, to use AdBlock, but it's a formality almost, I guess, at this point. I don't know. It's very interesting, though.
Well, I mean, it's also like it is a way that you're going to show support for you. It's just to sit there and watch it or kind of do something like that, because then it is kind of saying, look, I'm willing to go through this because I think you're worth it, something like that.
Yeah, I think you're right in a way. And I think some people even get away with not watching them. They just like and fave and say first, and they click off. They don't even watch the ad, in some places. But I think you're right. It's a tribute almost to, like, as someone who provides you with hours of content. I mean, if you post 2 15-minute videos a day, that's an hour every other day. If you're providing an hour of content for 2 minutes worth of ads, you think how much more efficient the ratio of entertainment to ad time it is to like something like television or mobile viewing of television, anything, streaming on Hulu or whatever. If you're gonna if you know you're gonna be entertained for those minutes, it should be worth little to nothing.
Yeah, and a lot of times it is nothing. You can block it out and just mentally skip town for a second and just kind of go on.
All right, so seriously, like when I watch Northern Lion stuff, he's got ads enabled on all of his content, and I swear to God, sorry, this goes back to the mentally blocking it out. I can't do it. They've got this super annoying. I live in Missouri, real quick, just throwing it out there, but they've got political ads on there, and there's this one they run every time. Every damn time I go to his site, I see the same ad, and it's attacking one of the senders here, and it's just like it's a big political attack ad, and I fucking hate it. It's horrible.
There was a time there was a big makeup craze too. There's a bunch of makeup based ads. And like, obviously a lot of people viewing gaming videos as male. I'm not gonna beat around the bush here. And you can watch all these males like watching like lipstick blush commercials. It's kind of funny, actually. It's almost comical. They think they can pull the wool over our eyes with the ads, but all you gotta do, man, clear your cookies, clear your cache, clear your internet browser, incognito mode. If you need to, proxy it, and then it'll all be neutral, random. I think that's a lot of big reason why you're getting Missouri-based ads if you don't want to watch them.
Well, actually, I run two different browsers, and I hate to say this, but I started watching them in my ad block browser.
Ah, there you go.
Yeah, it solves that.
What is merely a cent, almost, it's not that big of a deal. It's not like he's be like, oh, stop watching ads for my videos.
Yeah. Well, now that the Olympics are over, that video no longer plays. It was an Olympics. It was an Olympics themed ad. And it's so goddamn annoying, but it's no longer playing now, so I can watch it in my other browser like normal.
I kind of like the music video ones. They kind of break up the content every here and there. You're like, all of a sudden, like this catchy song pops on. It's like, hey, that's kind of catchy. I'm gonna listen to that for a little bit.
I'm gonna buy whatever they're selling.
I'm not gonna buy it. I'm gonna get the free listen.
Yeah, I was listening to like a Santana once, and it was just like, what? That's part of the ad, really?
I actually like the ones they had. They had this big showcase ads they rolled out about different artists, and all the artists had like this one unique style of art that they use, and it was basically like an interview. It was like this little 2-minute insert. Really was actually fairly informative about modern art in its current state and kind of how artists view their art. It's kind of actually cool.
Sometimes you never know with those ads because it's just hit or miss.
Yeah, for sure. And now they're even, at least on a lot of gaming videos I've been watching, they've been advertising basically a whole Tobuscus video, which was really surprising to me. But then again, how close he is with YouTube is vary, so.
Okay, so I have got one final question for you. Jeff, do you have any questions?
Nope, I'm good. Let's roll.
Okay, we touched on this topic a little bit before, but I want you to really try to describe exactly what it was like. How did it feel to finish your 185th video of Final Fantasy XIII?
Oh, geez. I guess weight of the world off my shoulders is really an understatement. So I'm going to try to break it down, like kind of what led up to that. Story time, Mother Goose time. I'm going to be Mother Goose right now.
I'm ready.
It sounded really pretentious again, and I got to really keep this stuff in check. I was going to pull out the Mother Goose before in a negative way, but Mother Goose in a positive way now. It's going to be a good story. But there's no rhymes. Well, actually, I might inadvertently rhyme. I tend to do that now and again. But, anyway. Oh, boy. I started recording the final session of my Let's Play Final Fantasy XIII right after I finished farming to the max levels for all my characters at that point in the game. So I was kind of right at that point. And I knew it was close. Everyone was telling me it was close. And you know how everyone gets. They get real antsy. They're like, AJ, I don't want to spoil it, blah, blah, blah. You have to get to this point in the game. I'm like, I'm right there. But I'm going through the last couple. That's basically the boss rush at the end of the game when you're playing through. Was it Orphan's Cradle? Right, Orphan's Cradle. And all of a sudden I'm recording. And it hits episode 154, 153, 155-ish. Those are all out of order, but that's how my mind works. Sort of time frame in the PVR when I'm recording this final boss, and it sort of washes over me a couple of times, like in the cutscenes. At the time, I didn't have 13 installed on my hard drive, so sometimes the Xbox was kind of going crazy. The fan's very loud. I have one of the older versions of it. So a lot of the cutscenes, I was really making a lot of noise. I was visually, physically, like, unsettled because I was so close. I didn't want it to end. I really didn't want it to end. I thought I could hit 200. I could have milked out the money, man. But I sort of came over me in waves, and then I finished that. I ended up crying. I talked for about a half hour after the game. I cut none of it out. It might not have been a half hour. That might have been afterwards, but I talked a little bit about my final impressions of the game through tears and sniffles, and it felt amazing, but it was so sad when I hit that stop button. Like, you have that cliche, like, sad music, head goes down to the chest moment where you just, like, silently reflect. There's a lot of reflecting after that. I was going through a rather hard time in the summer at that point, too, because it was beginning of summer and I was working as well, so I hated work at the time. And, like, sort of after it was over, it was just so much time where I was just thinking about what I was going to do next. Do I want to continue? Do I want to do another Let's Play? Stuff that I never would have thought before I was thinking. And as things progressed, I rendered it all out. I did this huge, it wasn't big, it ended up, the final episode was 2 hours. But I ended up doing about an hour and a half tribute to all of my fans, all my regular commenters. I had them fill out a quick Google survey I made in Google Docs. It was basically, what's your name? I gave them a movie credit title, like, you know how the movies, they have, like, a name and then, like, ... and, like, director. So, like, everyone had their own little title next to their name. And I thought that was really cute, but pretty cool, too. Very personalized. And then I let them have a quote of any sort of length. They could say whatever they wanted. I said I wasn't going to edit anything out. And I didn't. And, I sat there for about an hour and whatever, and I read every single quote, name, title, right back to all of them, and I talked about stuff I remembered about them, their comments, how much I appreciated them. It was really a big ordeal, and when it was over, it felt, like I said, very bittersweet, amazing, but awful. I was sick to my stomach the night after, the night before. I had it scheduled to upload when I was actually at work. I was sick to my stomach because I just didn't want it to end. And it gets to the time where it's posted, and I'm at work. And all of a sudden, I'm at work, and, the time passes mentally, and you just sort of know you're ready for whatever's going to happen. And I had my phone vibrate every time I got an email. And my phone was vibrating the whole night. And I couldn't be bothered to look at my phone. But on my dinner break, I popped it open, and I'm reading all these comments, and I cried again. I had to go to the bathroom because I was like a little sobbing bitch, at work. No one was going to like that. But,
like, what are you crying about?
Really
You're
emotional.
like, oh, internet comments.
I just finished a video game.
Oh, I'm sure they'd
that
love
would
that.
go over really well.
I mean, just talking about it now gets me all misty-eyed. But then again, I've been crying out of my left eye for the past month, so. Personal problems, but.
Allergies?
But seriously, allergies are terrible.
I'm with you.
I came off a pink eye about a month and a half ago, and it's never really been the same.
Ooh.
Bad stuff, bad business. Without getting too much into the things that my eye is discharging right now.
I think we're good on that. Thank you.
Thanks. Yeah, we're good.
I told you I wasn't going to get into it. Actually, it's just tears, obviously. But, so I'm reading all these comments at work, and I'm like, it was almost like coping, reading all these, like, Duff King, I can't wait until you do 13.2. I'm so happy, I'm going to stick around. I can't wait to see your next LP, even if it isn't 13.2. And it wasn't. I went the whole summer without posting anything 13.2 related besides teasing the hell out of it, just to get everyone hyped up. That was fun, too. So I always had that. And even when I'm recording LPs now, I think of, man, what I'd do to go back and record more Final Fantasy XIII, if I could just relive the golden age. But it's been unspeakable, and it's been such a formative experience. I can't talk enough about it, so I'll just stop and I'll let you guys talk.
Well, you have plenty of Final Fantasies ahead of you, plenty of great RPGs out there that I'm sure you will love, and I'm sure all of your viewers will love as well. So,
and I'm pretty sure if you continue to do the things you do for your fans and everything like that, they'll keep coming back and definitely look forward to whatever you have.
Yeah, thanks. I plan on making this as memorable as memorable can be. Memorable can be.
All right, so I'm out of questions. Jeff, you got any questions?
No, mine were pretty much filled in as we go along.
All right.
I'm sated personally. I'm done talking.
Anthony, do you have any questions for us?
I would have one question. Did you enjoy this little soiree we just experienced?
I hated it.
Every goddamn second.
Every second. No, seriously though, I had a lot of fun. It was really.
I enjoyed it.
Me too. It was awesome. I want to thank you guys for allowing me to talk.
I think we need to thank you for, spending some time with us, a lot of time with us, and going over pretty much your past several years.
Yeah, this was a very last-minute interview, so thank you very much.
I was glad to do it. Thank you.
All right, so that wraps up episode 3 of Let's Cast. Thank you very much for listening in, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thanks all.
See you guys.